3 months had passed since that beautiful sunrise in Liam's office. 3 months of navigating their relationship in the public eye, of building Olivia's bookstore, of learning what it meant to love someone from a completely different world. They'd been careful, or so they thought. Olivia stared at the white plastic stick in her trembling hands. 2 pink lines, clear as day, unmistakable. "No," she whispered. "No, no, this can't be happening." She was in the bathroom of her new bookstore, a small, cozy space that Liam had helped her set up. The store wasn't officially open yet, still a month away from the grand opening. And now, pregnant. She sank down onto the closed toilet seat, her mind racing. They'd been so happy. Things were finally working out. The media attention had died down. Liam's father was slowly coming around. The bookstore was almost ready. Everything was perfect. And now, this. Olivia's phone buzzed. A text from Liam. "Dinner tonight? I have something important to discuss." Her heart clenched. She typed back with shaking fingers. "Can we meet at the bookstore instead? I need to talk to you too." "Of course. 7 p.m.? I'll bring food." Perfect. The next few hours passed in a blur. Olivia tried to work on organizing books, but she couldn't focus. She kept touching her still, flat stomach, mind spinning with impossible questions. How would Liam react? They'd never talked about kids. They barely talked about a future beyond the next few months. Would he think she'd trapped him? Would his family accuse her of getting pregnant on purpose? And what did she want? She was 27, working constantly, just starting her business. She wasn't ready for a baby. But as she stood there, hand on her stomach, she felt something unexpected. Hope. And maybe joy. At exactly 7 p.m., Liam arrived with bags of Thai food, her favorite. He looked happy, excited even, his eyes bright in a way she hadn't seen before. "Hey, beautiful." He kissed her softly, setting the food down on the counter she designated as a reading nook. "The store looks amazing. You're almost ready." "Yeah." Olivia's voice came out strained. "Almost." Liam noticed immediately. "What's wrong?" You said you had something important to discuss. You go first." He smiled, that genuine smile that still made her heart skip. "Okay, but let's sit." They settled onto the floor, surrounded by boxes of books, the smell of pad thai filling the cozy space. Liam took her hands. "Olivia, these past 3 months have been the happiest of my life. You've changed everything for me. The way I see the world, the way I see myself, what I want from life." He paused, squeezing her hands. "I know we haven't been together that long. I know there's still so much we're learning about each other, but I also know that I want forever with you." Olivia's breath caught. "Liam," he waited. "Let me finish." He looked nervous now, vulnerable in a way that made her want to cry. "My father called me into his office yesterday. He's still not thrilled about us, but he's, accepting it, slowly. And he made me an offer." "What kind of offer?" "He wants to step back from the board, let me have full control of the company. No more interference, no more pressure. But there's a condition." Olivia's stomach dropped. "What condition?" "He wants me to settle down, get married, show stability and maturity." His words, not mine. He basically said, if I'm going to be with you, I need to make it official. Show the business world that this isn't just a fling. "A fling," Olivia repeated flatly. "I told him we're more than that." But he won't budge. He says marriage, or he stays on the board and continues to make my life hell. Liam's jaw tightened. "I know it's insane. I know it's way too fast, but Olivia, I want to marry you anyway. Not because of my father, not because of the company, because I love you." Any other day, Olivia would have been over the moon. But right now, with the positive pregnancy test burning a hole in her pocket, all she could think was, he's going to think I planned this. You love me? She said quietly. I love you. I'm in love with you. I want to wake up next to you every morning and fall asleep with you every night. I want to build a life together. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Liam, wait! But he was already opening it. Inside was a ring, simple, elegant, perfect. A single diamond on a platinum band. It was my grandmother's, Liam said softly. The only person in my family who ever really understood what love meant. She told me before she died to give this to someone who makes me feel like myself. Someone who sees me, not my name or my money. His voice cracked slightly. That's you, Olivia. You're the only one who's ever really seen me. Tears streamed down Olivia's face. I need to tell you something. Is it a no? Liam's face fell. Because if it's too fast, we can wait. I don't need an answer right now. I'm pregnant. The words hung in the air between them. Liam froze, the ring box still in his hand, his expression completely blank. What? He finally whispered. I'm pregnant. I found out this morning. I took 3 tests. They're all positive. Olivia was crying harder now. I know what you're thinking. I know it looks like I planned this, like I'm trapping you. Stop. Liam's voice was firm. He set the ring box down carefully and pulled her into his arms. Stop. That's not what I'm thinking at all. It's not? Olivia, look at me. He cupped her face, wiping away her tears with his thumbs. Do you really think I'd believe you'd manipulate me like that after everything we've been through? Your father will think it. Everyone will think it. I don't care what they think. Liam's eyes were intense, searching hers. How do you feel about it? About being pregnant? Olivia took a shaky breath, terrified, overwhelmed, completely unprepared. Pause. But also happy? Is that crazy? We've only been together 3 months. I'm about to open a business. I have no idea how to be a mother. We'll figure it out. Liam pressed his forehead to hers. Together. We'll figure it all out together. You're not angry? Angry? Olivia, we're having a baby. A slow smile spread across his face, wonder in his eyes. We're having a baby. That's incredible. It's crazy. It's both, he laughed, a sound of pure joy mixed with disbelief. It's completely insane and absolutely perfect. Olivia let out a sob that was half laugh. Your father is going to lose his mind. Probably. But you know what? This actually makes things simpler. Liam picked up the ring box again. Now I have an even better reason to ask you this. Olivia Santos, will you marry me? Not because of my father, not because you're pregnant, but because I love you and I want to spend my life with you. Liam! Olivia. She looked at the ring, at his hopeful face, at the future suddenly spreading out before them. Complicated and scary and beautiful. Are you sure? Really sure? Because once we do this, there's no going back. We'll be tied together forever, even if things don't work out. Things will work out. You don't know that. I know I love you. I know I want this baby. I know I want you to be my wife. I know that marrying you will be the best decision I ever make. Everything else we'll figure out as we go. Olivia looked into his eyes and saw nothing but love and certainty. No doubt, no hesitation, just faith in her, in them, in their future. Okay, she whispered. Okay? Yes, I'll marry you. Liam's face lit up like the sun. He slipped the ring onto her finger, a perfect fit, and kissed her with such tenderness that it made her cry all over again. We're getting married. We're having a baby. Holy shit, Olivia, we're having a baby. She laughed through her tears. I know. I can't believe it either. They sat there on the floor of her bookstore, holding each other, the Thai food forgotten, talking about impossible futures that suddenly seemed possible. They talked about cribs and baby names and how to tell their families. They talked about the wedding. Quick and simple, they decided before she started showing. What about the bookstore? I can't open and plan a wedding and be pregnant all at once. So we hire help. We postpone the opening if we need to. Or, Liam's eyes lit up, or we get married here, in the bookstore, before the official opening. Just close friends and family. Olivia looked around at the space she had built with her own hands, filled with the books she loved, now filled with the man she loved, and the future they were building together. That's perfect, she said softly. That's absolutely perfect. But as she lay in Liam's arms that night, Olivia couldn't shake a small voice in the back of her mind, a voice that whispered, "What if he's only marrying you because of the baby? What if without the pregnancy?"
3 weeks later, Olivia stood in the back room of her bookstore wearing a simple white dress and fighting the urge to throw up. Morning sickness had hit with a vengeance, though it seemed to last all day rather than just mornings. "You okay?" Her mother fussed with the small flower crown in Olivia's hair. "You look pale." "I'm fine, Mom, just nervous." "It's not too late to wait, you know. Have a proper wedding when you're feeling better." "I don't want to wait." Olivia placed a hand on her still flat stomach. "I want to be married before I start showing. I don't want people talking more than they already are." And they were talking. The announcement of their engagement had caused another media frenzy. The pregnancy news had been kept secret, for now, but Olivia knew it was only a matter of time before someone figured it out. "Liam loves you," her mother said gently. "That's all that matters." Did he? Or did he love the idea of doing the right thing? Olivia had been trying to silence that voice for 3 weeks, but it kept getting louder. Liam had been perfect, attentive, excited, involved. He'd come to her first prenatal appointment, held her hand through the ultrasound where they'd seen their baby, just a tiny blob, but a blob with a heartbeat. He'd rubbed her feet when they swole, brought her crackers when she felt sick, looked at her like she was carrying the most precious thing in the world. But sometimes, late at night when he thought she was asleep, she'd catch him staring at the ceiling with an expression she couldn't read, and she'd wonder. A knock on the door interrupted her thoughts. "It's time," said Sarah, Olivia's best friend and makeshift wedding planner. "Everyone's ready. You look beautiful, by the way." Olivia took a deep breath and walked out into her bookstore. They'd transformed it into something magical. White flowers everywhere, fairy lights strung between the bookshelves, soft music playing. There were only 30 people there, her mom and close friends, Liam's few trusted colleagues, and his parents. His father sat in the front row with an expression that could curdle milk. His mother looked uncomfortable, but was at least making an effort to smile. And then Olivia saw Liam. He stood at the front, between two towering bookshelves, wearing a perfectly tailored suit. When their eyes met, his face transformed. All the love, all the wonder, all the certainty she'd seen that first night came flooding back. "He loves you," she told herself. "He chose you." The ceremony was short and sweet. They'd written their own vows, and when it was Liam's turn, he took both her hands and spoke with a voice thick with emotion. "Olivia, 3 months ago, you stumbled into my car during a storm and my whole world changed. You showed me what it means to really live, to really feel, to really love. Today, I'm promising you forever. I'm promising to be your partner, your support, your best friend. I'm promising to build a life with you, to raise our child with you, to face whatever storms come our way, together." When it was Olivia's turn, she had to pause to collect herself. "Liam, you saved me that night. Not just from the rain, but from a life where I'd stopped believing in magic and possibilities, in love. You see me, really see me, and you make me brave. Today, I'm choosing you, not because I have to, not because it's expected, but because there's no one else I'd rather build a life with. I love you, I love our baby, and I love the family we're creating together." They exchanged rings, his grandmother's for her, a simple platinum band for him. And when the officiant said, "You may kiss your bride," Liam pulled her close and kissed her like they were the only two people in the world. "I love you, Mrs. Blackwood," he whispered against her lips. "I love you too," she whispered back, and in that moment, she believed it completely. The reception was simple: cake, champagne, sparkling cider for Olivia, music and laughter. Liam never left her side, his hand constantly finding hers, his eyes full of warmth and happiness. But when his father pulled him aside for a private conversation, Olivia watched them from across the room. She couldn't hear what they were saying, but she could see Liam's jaw tightening, his shoulders tensing. After a few minutes, Liam walked away from his father and came straight back to her. "Everything okay?" Olivia asked. "Perfect." Liam kissed her forehead. "Dance with me?" As they swayed together to a slow song, surrounded by books and flowers and people who loved them, Olivia tried to focus on the moment, on the feel of Liam's arms around her, the sound of his heartbeat, the warmth of his breath against her hair. "What did your father say?" she asked quietly. Liam tensed. "Nothing important." "Liam," he sighed. "He wanted to make sure we signed a prenup. I told him we'd already handled it." They had. It had been Liam's lawyer's idea, just a formality, he had said. Olivia had signed, without really reading it. What did it matter? She wasn't marrying Liam for his money. "And," Olivia prompted, "and he wanted to remind me about the board meeting next month. He's officially stepping down, and I need to present a 5-year plan for the company." "That's good, right? That's what you wanted." "Yeah," Liam pulled her closer. "Everything I wanted." But Olivia heard what he didn't say. She heard the weight in his voice, the obligation, the pressure. Later that night, in the hotel suite Liam had booked for their wedding night, Olivia stood by the window looking out at the city lights. They couldn't go on a proper honeymoon. Olivia's morning sickness was too bad, and Liam had too much work. "After the baby comes," they'd promised each other. "We'll take a proper trip then." "Hey," Liam came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist, his hands resting on her stomach. "What are you thinking about?" "Everything. Nothing. I don't know. It all happened so fast. 3 months ago, I didn't even know you existed, and now we're married, having a baby? It's surreal." "Regrets?" "No. You?" Liam was quiet for a beat too long. "Of course not." But Olivia felt it, that tiny hesitation, that moment of pause. It was so brief she might have imagined it, but it lodged in her chest like a splinter. "We're gonna be okay, right?" she asked quietly. "Us? The baby? All of it?" "We're gonna be more than okay." Liam turned around to face her. "We're gonna be amazing." He kissed her then, deep and passionately, and they made love with the kind of intensity that comes from trying to prove something to each other, to themselves, to the world. Afterwards, as Liam slept beside her, Olivia lay awake staring at the ceiling, at the ring on her finger that suddenly felt too heavy, at the future that felt too uncertain. She was Mrs. Blackwood now. She was going to be a mother. She had everything she never knew she wanted. So why did she feel like something was missing? Why did she feel like they were both pretending everything was fine when they could feel the cracks starting to form? Outside, storm clouds gathered on the horizon.
5 months pregnant, Olivia stood in the massive kitchen of their new penthouse, trying to figure out how to work the espresso machine that probably cost more than her old monthly rent. They'd moved in 2 months ago, right after the wedding. Liam's penthouse, now their penthouse. Olivia still couldn't wrap her head around it. Floor-to-ceiling windows with views of the entire city. More space than 2 people could ever need. A nursery that Liam had already started decorating with an enthusiasm that would have been touching if it didn't feel so desperate. "Need help?" Liam appeared in the doorway, already dressed in his suit, despite it being barely 7 a.m. "I just wanted regular coffee," Olivia muttered. "This thing has more buttons than a spaceship." Liam came over and pressed a few buttons with practiced ease. The machine hummed to life, dispensing perfect coffee into her mug. "Thanks." Olivia accepted the mug. "You're up early." "Board meeting today, the 5-year plan presentation." Liam's jaw was tight. "My father will be there. Even though he's officially stepped down, he still shows up to every meeting." "I'm sure you'll be great." "Yeah." Liam loosened his tie, then tightened it again, a nervous habit Olivia had started noticing. "Listen, I might be home late tonight. If the meeting runs long..." "It's fine. I have prenatal yoga anyway." "Right, yoga." Liam looked at her stomach, noticeably round now. Impossible to hide. "How are you feeling? Is the baby moving?" "All the time, especially at night when I'm trying to sleep." Olivia smiled slightly. "I think we've got a night owl." Like her mother. Liam stepped forward, placing his hand on her belly. On cue, the baby kicked against his palm. His face lit up with that wonder she'd seen at the ultrasound. "There she is." "Hey, little one, it's Daddy." It was in moments like these that Olivia almost forgot her doubts, almost convinced herself that everything was perfect. "We don't know it's a girl yet," she reminded him gently.
I have a feeling. Liam kissed her forehead, then checked his watch. I have to go. I'll text you later, okay? Okay. He left, and Olivia was alone in the massive penthouse. Again. The bookstore had opened successfully 3 months ago, but Olivia had hired a manager to run it while she dealt with her difficult pregnancy. She visited sometimes, but it wasn't the same. It didn't feel like hers anymore. Nothing did. She'd gone from working 2 jobs and barely making ends meet to living in luxury with nothing to do. Her friends rarely visited. The penthouse was too far, too intimidating. Her mother came by once a week, but even she seemed uncomfortable in the pristine space. Olivia spent most days alone, decorating the nursery, reading baby books, attending prenatal appointments by herself because Liam always had meetings or calls or crises at work. He was drowning in the company, she could see it. Ever since his father stepped down and gave him full control, the pressure had intensified. Liam worked 16-hour days, came home exhausted, and fell asleep immediately. They barely talked anymore, beyond logistics. And when they did talk, they were careful, polite, like roommates rather than newlyweds. That evening, Olivia sat in the nursery, a beautiful room with a crib that cost more than a car, designer decorations, and not a single personal touch. She'd tried to add some personality, but Liam's interior designer mother kept helping by replacing Olivia's choices with more expensive, more tasteful options. Her phone buzzed, a text from Sarah. "Drinks tonight? I miss you." Olivia stared at the messages. She couldn't drink, she couldn't stay out late. She was 5 months pregnant and married and living a life that was supposed to be perfect but felt increasingly hollow. She texted Sarah back, "Rain check? Not feeling great." She texted Liam, "Okay, good luck with the meeting." Neither was entirely true, but what else could she say? Around 10 p.m., Olivia was dozing on the couch when she heard the front door open. Liam came in, his tie askew, exhaustion written all over his face. "Hey." He dropped his briefcase and sank onto the couch beside her. "How are you feeling?" "Fine. How did it go?" "Good. Great, actually. They approved the plan. My father even—" He said he was proud of me. First time in my life. "Liam, that's wonderful." Olivia sat up, trying to muster enthusiasm despite her own exhaustion. "Yeah, but Liam didn't look happy. He looked empty. 5 years of my life, all planned out. Every quarter, every initiative, every goal, all laid out in a presentation." "Isn't that what you wanted? Control of the company?" "I thought it was. But now I have it, and it's just more. More pressure, more responsibility, more expectations. You can handle it. You're amazing at what you do." "Am I? Or am I just doing what's expected of me? What I've always done? Living up to my father's standards, running his company his way, becoming exactly what he wanted me to be." "You have choices," she said finally. "You could step back, delegate more, hire people." "I can't. Not now. Not when I finally have control." Liam shook his head. "Besides, we have a baby coming. I need to provide for our family." "You already provide more than enough. My father built this company from nothing. He expects me to grow it, not just maintain it." Liam stood up abruptly. "I'm sorry, I'm exhausted. I'm going to take a shower and go to bed." He left before Olivia could respond. She sat there on the expensive couch in the expensive penthouse, feeling more alone than she'd ever felt in her old tiny apartment. When had they stopped really talking? When had they started performing happiness instead of feeling it? Olivia went to bed an hour later. Liam was already asleep, or pretending to be. She lay beside him in their massive bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling the baby kick against her ribs. "I love you," she whispered into the darkness, to Liam, to the baby, to the universe. "I love you, and I'm scared, and I don't know how to fix this." No answer came, just the sound of Liam's breathing and the distant hum of the city below. The next few months passed in a blur of prenatal appointments, work stress, and carefully maintained distance. They had dinner together when Liam came home in time. They discussed baby names and nursery furniture and birthing plans. They had sex occasionally, mechanical and obligatory. They were married. They were having a baby. They were building a life together. But somewhere along the way, they'd stopped being Liam and Olivia, the couple who fell in love in a storm, who saw each other completely, who made each other brave. Now they were just Mr. and Mrs. Blackwood, playing their roles, going through the motions.
Labor started at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. Olivia woke up to a sharp pain in her abdomen, so intense it took her breath away. For a moment, she thought it was just another Braxton Hicks contraction. She'd had plenty of those over the past few weeks. Then her water broke. "Liam!" She shook his shoulder. "Liam, wake up! It's time!" He jolted awake immediately. Time? Like time? The baby's coming! What followed was chaos. Liam, normally so calm and collected in business crises, completely panicked. He couldn't find the hospital bag they'd packed weeks ago. It was by the front door. He put on 2 different shoes. He tried to drive them to the hospital, but forgot his keys. "Liam," Olivia gripped his arm as another contraction hit. "Breathe. We've got time. First babies take hours." She was trying to calm him down, but inside, she was terrified. Not just of the pain, though it was already worse than she had imagined, but of what came after. Of bringing a baby into a marriage that was barely holding together. At the hospital, everything happened fast and slow at the same time. Check-in, room assignment, monitors hooked up, doctors checking her progress. Liam held her hand through every contraction, his face pale but determined. "You're doing great," he kept saying. "You're amazing. I'm so proud of you." Hours passed. The pain intensified. Olivia had planned to go natural, but after 12 hours of labor, she begged for an epidural. "There's no shame in it," the nurse assured her. "Every birth is different." Once the epidural kicked in, Olivia could finally breathe again. Liam sat beside her bed, still holding her hand, looking exhausted despite not being the one in labor. "I'm scared," Olivia admitted quietly. "Of the birth? Of everything after." She looked at him. "Are we ready for this? Really ready?" Liam opened his mouth, probably to give her a reassuring answer, but then he stopped. For the first time in months, he was honest. "I don't know," he said. "I'm terrified of being a father, of messing this up, of—" He trailed off. "Of what?" "Of not being enough. For you, for the baby. Of failing at the one thing that really matters." Olivia squeezed his hand. "You're not going to fail." "How do you know?" "Because you care. Because you're here. Because despite everything, all the stress and pressure and distance, you're still here holding my hand, scared out of your mind but showing up anyway." Liam's eyes filled with tears. "I love you. I know I haven't been good at showing it lately. I know I've been absent and stressed and not the husband you deserve. But I love you, Olivia. I love you so much, it scares me." "I love you too." Olivia felt her own tears starting. "And we're going to figure this out. All of it. Starting now." The moment felt like a turning point. Like maybe, just maybe, they could find their way back to each other. Then the doctor came in and announced it was time to push. The next hour was a blur of pain and pressure and encouragement and fear. Liam stayed by her side the whole time, coaching her through contractions, wiping her forehead, telling her how strong she was. And then suddenly there was a cry. "It's a girl," the doctor announced. "A beautiful, healthy baby girl." They placed her on Olivia's chest, this tiny, perfect creature with a full head of dark hair and lungs that worked perfectly. Olivia looked down at her daughter and felt her entire world shift. "Hi, baby," she whispered through tears. "Hi, sweetheart. We're your parents. We're going to love you so much." Liam stood beside them, tears streaming down his face, looking at their daughter with such pure wonder and love that Olivia's heart ached. "She's perfect," he breathed. "She's absolutely perfect." "Emma," Olivia said suddenly. "Her name is Emma. Emma Rose Blackwood." They'd discussed names for months, but never decided. But looking at her daughter now, Olivia knew. This was Emma. "Emma," Liam repeated, testing it out. "Hi, Emma. I'm your dad. I promise. I'm going to do my best for you. I promise. I'm going to be here, be present, be the father you deserve." He looked at Olivia when he said it, and she understood. He wasn't just making promises to Emma, he was making them to her too. The next 2 days in the hospital
were exhausting and beautiful. Olivia learned to breastfeed harder than anyone warned her. Liam learned to change diapers, terrified he'd break their daughter. Emma learned to sleep for exactly 45 minutes at a time before waking up crying. Liam's parents came to visit, and for the first time, his mother actually smiled at Olivia, a real smile, not a polite one. "She's beautiful," she said softly. "She has your eyes, Olivia." Even his father softened slightly, holding Emma with a gentleness Olivia had never seen from him. "Congratulations," he told Liam. "Fatherhood changes everything." "I'm counting on it," he replied. Going home was terrifying. Suddenly they were alone with this tiny human who depended on them completely. The first night, Emma cried for 3 hours straight. Liam walked laps around the penthouse with her, while Olivia tried not to cry from exhaustion and hormones. "What are we doing wrong?" Olivia asked desperately. "Nothing. Babies just cry sometimes." Liam looked as lost as she felt. "Maybe she's hungry? I just fed her." "Diaper? Just changed." They tried everything. Swaddling, rocking, singing, white noise. Finally, around 2 a.m., Emma just stopped crying, fell asleep mid-wail, like she'd suddenly remembered how to. Liam and Olivia looked at each other and burst out laughing, quiet, exhausted laughter. "We have no idea what we're doing," Olivia said desperately. "Not even a little bit," Liam agreed. But somehow that made it better. They were failing together, learning together, showing up together. Over the next few weeks, they fell into a rhythm. Liam had taken paternity leave, something his father was not happy about, and threw himself into fatherhood with the same intensity he'd once reserved for work. He did night feedings with pumped milk so Olivia could sleep. He learned all of Emma's different cries. He sang to her, off-key, but Emma didn't seem to mind. And in the quiet moments between diaper changes and feeding sessions and stolen naps, Liam and Olivia started finding each other again. They talked while Emma slept on Liam's chest, real conversations, not just logistics, about their fears and hopes and dreams, about what kind of parents they wanted to be, about what kind of marriage they wanted to have. "I don't want to go back to how we were," Liam said one night. "Before Emma, we were just existing together, going through the motions." "I know." Olivia curled against his side, careful not to wake Emma. "I got so caught up in work, in proving myself, in living up to expectations, I forgot why any of it mattered." Liam looked down at their sleeping daughter. "She reminds me, you both do. Work will still be there when you go back." "I know, but
3 months after Emma was born, Olivia found herself alone again. Liam had gone back to work with the best intentions. He'd promised shorter hours, more presence, better balance. But the company didn't care about promises. Neither did his father, who seemed to call with a crisis at least 3 times a day. The late nights started again, the missed dinners, the exhausted silences. Except now, there was a baby who cried at night while Liam slept through it, too exhausted from work. A baby who needed feeding and changing and attention that Olivia gave alone, day after day, while Liam disappeared into the demands of Blackwood Industries. Olivia was drowning. She'd hired a nanny, Liam's idea, but she felt guilty every time someone else held Emma. She'd wanted to breastfeed exclusively, but stress was affecting her supply. She'd wanted to go back to her bookstore, but who would watch Emma? The nanny was good, but Olivia couldn't shake the feeling that she was failing as a mother. And her marriage? That was failing too. One night, when Emma was 3 months old, Olivia sat in the nursery at 2 a.m., feeding her daughter while Liam slept soundly in their bedroom. She could hear his phone buzzing with work emails even at this hour. "I'm sorry, baby girl," she whispered to Emma. "I'm sorry you have a mom who's barely holding it together and a dad who's never here." Emma just looked at her with those big, dark eyes, Liam's eyes, and something in Olivia broke. She needed help, real help. Not a nanny, not her mother's weekly visits. She needed her husband. After putting Emma back to sleep, Olivia went to their bedroom. Liam was sprawled across the bed, still in his dress shirt and pants, having apparently fallen asleep the moment he hit the mattress. "Liam," she shook his shoulder. "Liam, wake up." "Huh? What? Is Emma okay?" "Emma's fine. We need to talk."
Can it wait until morning? I have a presentation at... No, it can't wait. Olivia's voice was firm. We need to talk now. Liam sat up, rubbing his eyes. Okay, what's wrong? Everything. This. Us. Our marriage. Olivia crossed her arms. When was the last time we had a real conversation? When was the last time you came home before Emma was asleep? When was the last time we were actually together, not just existing in the same space? Olivia, I'm working hard for our family. No, you're working hard for your father, for the company, for everyone except us. Tears started streaming down Olivia's face. I'm alone in this, Liam. I'm alone with a 3-month-old baby, barely sleeping, barely eating, barely surviving. And you're just not here. That's not fair. I'm providing for you, giving you everything you need. I don't need money. I don't need this penthouse or the designer nursery. I need my husband. I need my partner. I need the man who promised me we'd figure this out together. Liam stood up, frustration clear on his face. What do you want me to do? Quit my job? Walk away from the company my father built? We have responsibilities. We had a baby because I got pregnant by accident, and you proposed because your father was pressuring you, and we got married so fast because we felt like we had to. Did we ever stop to ask if this was what we really wanted? Silence filled the room. Liam stared at her, his face going pale. Is that what you think? His voice was quiet, dangerous. You think I only married you because of my father? Because you were pregnant? Didn't you? Olivia was crying harder now. Be honest, Liam. If I hadn't gotten pregnant, would you have proposed so soon? Would you have even stayed with me once the reality of our different worlds really hit? Of course I would have. Would you? Or would you have eventually realized that I don't fit in your world? That I'm just the poor girl from the storm who doesn't know which fork to use at fancy dinners? That marrying me was a mistake? Stop it, Liam's voice cracked. Stop putting words in my mouth. Then tell me the truth, Olivia demanded. Tell me you don't regret this. Tell me you don't wish things had been different. Tell me you actually wanted to marry me, not because you felt obligated, but because you loved me. I do love you. Then why does it feel like we're strangers? Olivia's voice broke. Why does it feel like we're just playing house? Like we're pretending to be happy when we're both miserable? Liam opened his mouth, then closed it. He ran his hands through his hair, that nervous gesture she'd come to recognize as him avoiding something. Say something, Olivia whispered. Please. I don't know what you want me to say. The truth. Just the truth. Liam was quiet for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely audible. I'm scared. Of what? Of everything. He looked at her with eyes full of pain. Of failing as a father, of failing as a husband, of losing the company and proving my father right that I'm not good enough, of losing you because I can't be what you need, of... His voice cracked. Of the fact that maybe you're right. Maybe I did propose because I felt like I had to. Maybe I jumped into marriage too fast because it felt like the right thing to do. The words hit Olivia like a physical blow. She'd wanted the truth, but hearing it hurt more than she had imagined. So you do regret it, she said flatly. No, that's not... Liam stepped toward her. I don't regret marrying you. I don't regret Emma. I don't regret any of it. But I can't help wondering, what if we had more time? What if we dated longer, gotten to know each other better before diving into marriage and parenthood? What if we'd built a stronger foundation before adding all this pressure? We can't go back and change it. I know. Liam looked defeated. But I also can't help feeling like we're both just surviving, not thriving, not happy, just getting through each day. Olivia sank onto the bed, all the fight draining out of her. What are we doing, Liam? What are we doing to each other, to Emma? I don't know, he said beside her, careful not to touch her. I thought I could do it all. Be the CEO, be the husband, be the father, but I'm failing at all of it. You're not failing at being a father. Emma adores you. I barely see her. By the time I get home, she's asleep. I'm missing everything. Her smiles, her sounds, her firsts. I'm becoming my father, and I promised myself I never would. They sat in silence, the weight of their confession settling around them like ash. What do we do now? Olivia finally asked. I don't know, he admitted. Do we try to fix this? Or do we admit that maybe we made a mistake? The question hung in the air. Divorce. He hadn't said the word, but it was there, implied, waiting. I can't think about this right now, Olivia said quietly. I'm too tired, too overwhelmed. I just need space to figure out what I want. Okay, Liam stood up. I'll sleep in the guest room. He left, and Olivia sat alone in their bedroom, feeling the emptiness beside her like a physical presence. The next morning, Liam was gone before she woke up. A text on her phone. Early meeting, we'll talk tonight. But they didn't talk that night, or the next night, or the night after that. They moved around each other like ghosts, speaking only when necessary, sleeping in separate rooms, co-parenting Emma with careful politeness. A week passed, then two. The space between them grew wider, the silence louder. Olivia's mother came to visit and immediately noticed something was wrong. What happened? She asked while Olivia fed Emma. Nothing. Everything. I don't know, Mom. Olivia felt the tears starting again. They came so easily these days. I think my marriage might be over. Over, honey, you just had a baby. Every new parent goes through rough patches. This isn't a rough patch. We got married too fast, for the wrong reasons. Because I got pregnant and his father pressured him and we thought we were in love, but maybe we were just caught up in a moment. Olivia looked at her mother with desperate eyes. What if we made a huge mistake? Her mother was quiet for a long moment. Do you love him? I don't know anymore. I love who he was in the beginning. The man who saved me from the storm, who saw me, who made me brave. But now he's just the CEO who lives in my house. And does he love you? He says he does, but I don't feel it. I just feel obligation. Then you need to figure out if love is enough to rebuild what's broken, she said gently. Or if sometimes love isn't enough. That night, Olivia made a decision. She was going to move out, temporarily, take Emma and go stay with her mom for a while. Give both of them real space to figure out what they wanted. She was packing a bag when Liam came home early, the first time in weeks. What are you doing? He stood in the doorway staring at the suitcase on the bed. I'm going to stay with my mom for a bit. You're leaving? His voice was flat. I'm taking a break to think, to breathe, to figure out what I want. What about what I want? What do you want, Liam? Olivia turned to face him. Really want? He opened his mouth, closed it. That hesitation again, and suddenly she saw it. Really saw it. The truth he'd been too afraid to say, that she'd been too afraid to acknowledge. You don't know, do you? She said softly. You don't know if you want this marriage. You love Emma, but you don't know if you want to be married to me. Not really. Not without the obligation, the pressure, the expectations. That's not... Be honest. Please, I'm begging you. Be honest with me. Liam's face crumbled. He sank onto the bed, his head in his hands. I don't know, he whispered. God help me. I don't know. I love you. I think I love you. But I also feel like I'm drowning, and I don't know if being married to you is part of what's saving me or part of what's pulling me under. The truth, finally out in the open, should have hurt more than she had imagined. But instead, Olivia felt something like relief. Thank you, she said quietly, for being honest. So you're leaving. I'm taking space. For what of us? To figure out who we are without all the pressure and expectations.